Starting in child's pose, knees nice and wide, big toes together, sit bones towards the heels and reach forward with the arms, back with the sit bones. Relax through the shoulders, just take a breath down in child's pose just to stretch the lower back. Get a little stretch through those hips. One more breath here. Then make your way up onto your hands and knees, heel of the hands under the shoulders, knees under the hips, and step both feet back into a plank position. Lift the hips, squeeze the heels back, find down dog, have a little paddle of the feet here. We're going to find pigeon pose in a moment. Bring the heels to stillness, put your weight into your left foot, raise your right leg up to the ceiling, bend the knee, stack up the hips by pushing the right foot to the left, shoulders stay square to the front of the mat. Hip flexor stretch in this space. Then realign the hips, bring the right knee to the heel of the right hand, drop it down, untuck the back toes, take a hold of the right foot with the left hand, turn it under the body 45 degrees less or more. Left hand comes back to the floor, rock the left hip towards the sole of the right foot. And when you've done that a couple of times, bring it to stillness, push those hips into the mat. Feel like you're slightly lifting the lower belly up, expanding through the chest, relaxing through the shoulders, staying up high in this pigeon pose. We're just holding for a breath, an external rotation of the right hip and a stretch of the left hip flexor. Then rock over onto your right hip, bring your left foot around in front of you. Take the left foot either into the right hand or the crease of the right elbow, and then bring your knee of the left either into the left hand or the crease of the left elbow. Bring the hands together if you've not held the foot and the knee. Interlace the fingers, lift up through the chest and just have a little rock of that body from side to side, relaxing through that left hip if you can. Try and send the awareness to that space and breathe deeply into that place. Then taking ourselves back out and back to our pigeon pose. So releasing that left foot to the back of the mat, bring both hands forward to the front of the mat, square the hips, tuck the left toes under, lift the left knee, right foot back to meet the left, and take a little paddle of the feet here. So same thing on the other side. Squeeze the heels back first, raise the left leg, bend that left knee, stack up the hips, shoulders stay neutral, rotation through the waist to stretch through that left hip flexor. Then realign the hips, bring your left knee to the heel of the left hand, untuck the back toes, take a hold of your left foot with your right hand and turn it underneath the body 45 degrees less or more. Right hand back to the floor, rock your right hip a couple of times towards the sole of that left foot. And then hold it down in that space. Squeeze the bum to push the hips down. Lift up through the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Expand that front side of the body. Keeping high up on the hands rather than the forearms for this particular one. And then take your weight over onto your left bum cheek. Bring your right foot around. Find a place for that right foot either in the left hand or left crease of elbow. Find a place for that knee in the right hand or the crease of the right elbow. If you've found the creases of the elbows, interlace the fingers and then just rock that body from side to side. And just bring the awareness to the space of that right hip. Just noticing how that outside hip feels. Breathe deeply into that space. And then release out of the pose, taking it back to pigeon. So the right foot goes back to the back of the mat, both hands to the front of the mat, hips square to that short edge. Then tuck the back toes under, lift the back knee, step your left foot back to meet the right, and take a little paddle of the feet here. Maybe a nod and a shake of the heads. And then stepping yourself towards the front of the mat and bringing the bums into the centre of the mat. So either swinging the legs around or bringing one foot forward at a time. Bring the bums into the centre, straighten the legs, have a paddle of those legs. Take a bend into your right knee and let that right knee drop out to the side, sole of the right foot into that left thigh. Take a breath in, reach up with the arms, and as you breathe out, fold from the hips, bring the hands to wherever they reach. Maybe the shin, the ankle, or outside edges of the feet. Keep that chest pointing forward, take an elongation on the inhale, push that knee of the left down and fold over that left thigh on the exhale. Use that breath to find that depth, find that range of movement. Maybe you keep breathing in and lifting slightly, breathing out and releasing a little lower maybe, maybe not. It may be that you're still quite high. It doesn't matter, so long as you're engaging that upper left thigh to push that left knee down and those left toes squeezing back towards the left shin. Your next breath in, raise those hands back up to the ceiling. On your out breath, bring your right hand behind. Push into that left heel as you lift the hip. Lifting the bum away from the mat, pointing back with that left hand to the back of the room. Feeling that stretch down that left side body. Weighting the right hand, squeezing the right bum cheek to lift those hips higher maybe. Maybe pointing through those left toes if it feels right. One more breath here. Then release those bums back to the mat. Reach up again. Inhale, lift the arms and breathe out. Fold back over that left thigh. Just holding here just for another breath. Then walk the hands back up towards you. Straighten out that right leg. Take a bend into your left knee and let the left knee drop out to the side. Make sure the flesh from under the right sit bone is removed and taken back. On your breath in, reach up the arms. On your breath out, fold over that right leg. Bring the hands to wherever they reach. Remember, the in-breath creates the elongation. The out-breath, the abdominals draw back and we fold over that right leg. Engage the upper right thigh to push the knee in, the toes back to stretch the Achilles and the calves. Easy breaths in. And long breaths out, taking that compression through that right hip flexor, external rotation through that left hip. Your next breath in, raise those hands again back up to the ceiling and then bring your left hand behind your back. Push into that right heel, lift those hips, squeeze that left bum cheek, send the right hand back, weight into the left hand, stretching down that right side body. As we compress the hip flexor in the fold, we're now stretching the hip flexor as we lift those hips high. Maybe point through those right toes. Full stretch down that right side. One more breath here. And then release those hips back down. Straighten out with both legs. Take a little paddle of the feet. So taking a bend into your right knee, then bring that right foot to the outside of the right hip. So the knee is bent. We may be rocking over a little onto that left side. If you wish to put something underneath the bum, feel free to do so. On your breath in, raise those hands up to the ceiling. On your breath out, just fold over that left leg. You'll feel like you're being pushed over to the left side. Use that left hand to push you back into the centre. If those knees feel a little tight on that right side, just bring that right foot slightly away from that right bum or elevate the hips by sitting on a block. Easy breaths in, long breaths out. Your next breath in, raise those hands again back up to the ceiling and hands back to the floor and stretch that right leg back out. Give a little paddle of the legs. Take a bend into your left knee, bring that left foot to the outside of the left hip. Foot's nice and flat. Make sure you're not sitting on the flesh of that right sit bone too much. Try and draw it out. Toes of the right foot back to the shins. On your in-breath, reach up. On your out-breath, fold over those hips. So we have an internal rotation of that left hip and we're compressing through that right hip to fold over that straight right leg. Keep pushing into that right hand to try and neutralise the body more into the centre, as that left leg will be wanting to push you over to the right. Easy breaths in, long breaths out. Then bring those hands back up towards the ceiling and release them back towards the floor. Straighten that left leg back out. Give a little paddle of those legs. Then take a bend into both knees. Let the knees drop out to the side. Take a hold of the feet. Turning the soles of the feet up. Lifting up through the chest. Then maybe just folding over those feet with those torsos. Using the elbows to push those knees out. One more breath here. And then on your in-breath, bring those torsos back over the hips. Bring the knees back together. Straighten the legs. Bring the hands to the chest. Palms together. Breathe in. Breathe out. Namaste.